know these 8 VS Code tips and tools in order for you to become a really good developer. A good developer is not just someone who is good at writing code, but they're also good at utilizing the frameworks and tools in order for them to become smarter, more efficient, and overall very productive. So let's take a look at these tools and tips that will help you get there. Now, if you are a React developer or even a JavaScript developer, you are going to really enjoy these tips and tricks because it's going to make you more efficient. So let's get started. So the first plugin is Quokka. Quokka is a VS Code extension. It is a developer productivity tool that allows you to rapidly prototype and test out your JavaScript code, and you can see the output of your code in line as well. Let's take a look. So I have VS Code open, and on the left hand side, you can head over to extensions and you can add install that will allow you to look at all the installed extensions. So now in this case, I can just go to Quokka and I already have it installed, but you can easily hit install and install it. Now, in order for me to use Quokka, I can open up my files by easily going to Command P on Mac, add a greater than sign, and then look for Quokka, right? And you can here just select whatever you want. In our case, we want to create a new JavaScript file, but you can also create a new TypeScript file if you want. So let's create a new JavaScript file. And here, let's create an array called shapes. And I'm going to call it rect and circle. It's a very simple array. Now I want to see the value of shapes. I can just type it in line. And you can see that rect and circle are printed in line right there. Now, if I want to just check the length of the array, I can just say shapes.length and again print length right here, and without any console log, and it is going to print the output of your code right away. This really helps you a lot because you can test out any code. Now, I use this plugin a ton whenever I'm writing any code. If I want to test out something really quickly, just to make sure that I have got the entire concept right, I come here for rapidly prototyping my code, and then I go ahead and write test cases later on. This really helps me a lot writing my code and testing it and making sure that everything makes sense. Or if you want to just test out a brand new code or a function that you have never used before, again, Quokka is a great place to come and try it out without leaving your editor, which is pretty awesome. At the bottom in the output tab, you can also see the output that you print out in your editor. So the next one is Prettier. Prettier is a opinionated code formatter wherein you can provide a list of rules that you like. Prettier is going to go ahead and format your code and reprint it. So let's take a look at an example. So now again in VS Code, I can go to my extensions and I can install a Prettier extension and again hit install for installing it. Once you have it installed, you can head over to your settings, your VS Code settings, by going to preferences and settings, and here click on this icon. Now right here you have a settings.json file where you can add in whatever settings that you like. So now there are two important settings over here. One is you need to add editor.default formatter is Prettier VS Code, and second, you need to add format on save is true. This on line number 7 will enable Prettier in your VS Code, and line number 5 will allow you to format the code according to whatever format you like and print it and reformat it. So and just by hitting save. So this is really important. Now, if I go back to my editor, I have a file called as Prettier.rc. Now here I have said tab width is 2, I want semicolon, and I don't want single quotes, right? Now, if I head over to any file in this specific repo, for example, right, you can see there is a bunch of code here and it uses double quotes, it has semicolon and whatnot, right? And I don't want, let's say I don't want semicolon, right? And I want single quotes. Now I have format on save is true, right? So I can go back here and just hit save, and you can see that all my double quotes are changed to single quotes and all the semicolons have disappeared. And this is thanks to Prettier, and this allows us for a consistent styling. So if you have a team and if you have your team members, like the other developers, and you want to make sure that everyone is using consistent styling. So whenever you push your code to GitHub, you don't see unnecessary changes in your file changes, right? This is exactly a good fix for it. So you need Prettier if you want to be a better developer in order to format your code. And what I would also recommend is share this plugin with your team and come up with a list of styling that everyone loves and add it over here in Prettier RC. So any new developer that joins in, they have to go with whatever you have defined here, your team has defined here collectively, and you don't see them, and you won't see them making unnecessary mistakes. So Prettier is pretty awesome like that. Now the next plugin is ES7 Snippets. This is one of my favorite plugins. If you are a developer, you are used to writing specific code, such as you have to write divs, you have to add divs for styling, you have to add semantic code, obviously, right? But then at the same time, you also create a new function, you create a new component. There are a bunch of steps you need to do in order for your code to run effectively. That is, you need to add a new component, you need to add a new function, and so on, right? And that's how we write code. But there can be a list of tasks that are quite repetitive, and we don't want to keep adding them over and over again, right? We want to get to the actual nitty-gritty details of it, the actual meat of the code, right? So for that case, ES7 Snippets, this specific plugin, is a simple extension for React, Redux, GraphQL, React Native that allows you to add custom snippets inside your code. So for example, once you have this installed, that's it, that you don't have to do anything. And now I can create a brand new file inside components, right? Let me just call this test.js. And here I can just add RFC, and you can see React functional component showing up right here, and I can select it, and there you go. It has gone with whatever file name that we have selected, and it has created a basic functional component for yourself. Similarly, if I want a React class component or a React functional component with prop types, I can just select this and it will automatically add it as well. Again, we are so used to adding this same code over and over again, which gets quite repetitive. You can use this plugin to do a lot more, which is pretty awesome. So if you want to be a better, efficient developer, definitely get this plugin. The next one is themes and icons. Now, you might be wondering, what does themes and icons have got to do with your productivity or your efficiency? Well, you are in your editor quite a lot, and you want to make sure whatever theme you choose as a developer, you're quite happy with it. You have customized it and personalized your editor and everything you're using day to day so that it's easier to find things and it's much more fun to write code, right? So I would highly recommend this plugin. Whenever I have used this specific plugin in my course on Next.js or any of the courses that I'm working on, every single student of mine asks for this specific plugin. So I want to share it here. So if I go to, again, extensions, you can see this extension called as Dracula Official. And this extension allows you to customize your VS Code editor altogether. So let's open up a file to see how it looks like. So here, let's go to the pages directory, right? And then open up document.js file. And here you can see the overall look and feel of every file. Again, index.js as well. You can overall see the look and feel of every file, right? And this is just a ship React project, a challenge that I am working on, right? And so this is a landing page repo for it. But I just wanted to show you that this is how Dracula Official looks like. The next extension is VS Code icons. So now as a developer, we want to find things quite easily. Now, one way of doing that is just using Command P and then just searching for whatever file that you want, right? But the other way is we want to also distinguish between different file types and different folders. So VS Code icons really allow us to differentiate between different files, and it gives you a visual picture of what that specific file is, right? So for example, over here, components has a specific icon, hooks have a specific icon with the hook icon, right? It also has utils. So if I zoom in a little bit more, you can see that it has hooks, pages have a specific icon, and even every file has different icons. So I can easily take a look on my sidebar and look which file I want to open and edit. Now, every second counts whenever you are writing any code. So this will allow you to save several seconds. And you might be wondering, what? I'm going to save several seconds? Who cares? I have a lot of time. But think about it. It's not just seconds in one day. These seconds do add up. So even if you spend, let's say, even if you're saving 5 minutes every day, over 10 years, it's going to add up a lot more. So you really want to make sure you're efficient overall. So this plugin really helps you to make it more obvious what these different folders are and what is in them. The next extension is GitLens. We use GitHub or GitLab in our day-to-day life. We use Git quite a lot, right? As developers. So we really want to make sure that we are using some extensions to really help our overall productivity with GitHub. GitLens allow us to use GitHub in your VS Code. For example, if you do install the extension again by going to VS Code extensions, this specific extension will allow you to really supercharge your Git and give you a visual of what your code looks like. My favorite feature is when you are inside any code, for example. So in this specific repo, I'm the only developer. But if I were to go to, if there are many developers, I know exactly the code that was added by each developer. So then if I have any questions, I can always ask them. So for example, over here, track page view, I updated this last week. Similarly, I added this last week as well. So it tells me when did I update it and if I do have any uncommitted changes. And again, I also get this specific GitLens icon, right? And it tells me everything about GitLens. For example, if you go to your source control, you can look at different commits, you can look at the commit details, right? GitLens is really powerful, so I really recommend checking it out. Collaboration is extremely important in a developer's life. You really need to make sure that you're collaborating really well. And if you need help, you're asking for help as well. So that help could be that I want you to check out my code, or if I'm stuck here, or if you're reviewing your colleagues' code and giving them feedback as well. Again, we need some sort of a tool that allows us to collaborate better. And I'm here to change your life by sharing a tool called as LiveShare. LiveShare truly helped me so much as a developer in my career. And let me show you how that works. So again, if you go to the extensions, I'm going to go to LiveShare. And over here, if you click on LiveShare, again, you can install it. It allows you to collaborate effectively and share your code with your coworker so they can view the exact same thing as you are. And you will also see where they are at in your file system, what they're doing. And again, it enables you to pair program better. And if you don't know what pair programming is, pair programming allows you to pair, that is, you can share your code with your coworker and you both are collaborating together on that specific piece of code. So if you're stuck on something, or if you need help, or if you're working on a feature together, you can use this LiveShare plugin, and it allows you to share a link with your coworker and they can view your code. And when they add comments, you see it as well. And it's the same server that you are updating. So let's take a look at an example. So in this case, I have LiveShare already installed. And at the bottom over here, this option called as LiveShare. And on the right hand side, it created an invite link for me to share with my coworker. Now it's already copied to my clipboard. And if I create a new file and paste it, this is how it looks like. I can just copy this link. The minute they open it up on their side, it's going to open up their VS Code, ask them to install the LiveShare plugin as well. And then you are going to see their code and they are going to see yours. Or rather, they are going to see your code because you're the one who has shared your code with them. This really allows you to faster debug, helps you to collaborate better with your coworkers, and overall really encourages pair programming as a very important part of your culture. The last one is Tailwind. Tailwind is a CSS framework that allows you to use utilities, and it gives you a design system out of the box that you can use right away. I already have a video on Tailwind, so if you do want to check it out, please click on the link somewhere here. Tailwind is great. So if you want to use Tailwind, one of the biggest problems with Tailwind is that you cannot remember all the possible utilities that Tailwind provides, right? So for that, there is a VS Code extension called as Tailwind IntelliSense that has a autocomplete feature. So whenever you're adding any class name, it is going to suggest what are the possible values of that specific utility. Let's take a look. So again, if we go to the extensions, I'm going to head over to install and search for Tailwind. And Tailwind CSS IntelliSense is the extension. Make sure you install it. And once you do, if I, let's say, head over to index, you can already see I have some styles here, right? And here I can add PX, and it's already giving me all the different values that PX has. Similarly, if I want colors, it's also giving me all the different colors. And this is exactly what IntelliSense does. It will give you and populate all the different values of that specific utility, even though you have added any custom utilities as well. Now, we all know how difficult it is to keep switching back and forth between the docs and your code, the docs and your code, right? We don't want to do that. This will really allow you to save a lot of time. And again, if you want to check out more on what Tailwind is, check out my video in this channel. That's all for all the VS Code tips and tools that you can use right away to become a more efficient developer, and it will help improve your overall productivity. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like these videos, please comment below and let me know what you like about them so I can keep creating them as well. Alright, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. Alright, I hope you have a good day. Bye.